CBS News Justice reporter Paula Reid is in Washington. So, Paula, the Trump administration is going to redirect resources from the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division to investigate and potentially sue universities over improper affirmative action admissions practices. Explain to our viewers, what does that mean?
So to be clear, the Supreme Court has held that colleges and universities can use race as one factor when they evaluate whether or not to admit someone. But there are people, particularly many conservatives, who believe that once race is used in the admissions equation, that those who benefit from that are disadvantaging others. So they argue that even though affirmative action is meant to increase diversity, that some people, particularly whites and Asian students, are harmed in this process. So now it seems that that theory is going to have the full weight of the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division behind it.
Well, so an internal document from the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division was obtained by the New York Times, and it referenced, quote, intentional race-based discrimination. Did something in particular spur the DOJ to pursue these cases now?
Well, I think it's a great example of how elections have consequences. This is just one of the many things we're seeing specifically within the Civil Rights Division that is such a sharp contrast from what we saw during the Obama administration. We've seen changes in how they approach voting rights, transgender rights, police use of force, and this is just another example. But one timing aspect of this, just last year, the Supreme Court once again upheld affirmative action in sort of a squeaker of a case that just slipped by. So it does seem that the time is ripe. If they can find the right plaintiff to try to get this before the justices again, they might be able to win on this argument.
Yeah, well, given what you just said, what legal basis would be used for suing universities?
So it's going to be difficult to find just the right plaintiff to bring before the courts. There are already several lawsuits in the pipeline from Asian students who argue that affirmative action puts them at a disadvantage, particularly when it comes to Ivy League schools. So it's not clear if the Justice Department is just going to focus on their own cases or if they'll glom on to one of those. But ultimately, what they're going to have to prove is that these admissions decisions are not made just using race as one factor, but perhaps there's a quota system or something else at play that is not within the confines of what the Supreme Court has already ruled as acceptable.
Finally, Paula, I want to ask you about immigration policy. Senators Tom Cotton and David Perdue unveiled the RAISE Act on Wednesday, which essentially calls for a merit-based immigration system. Now, Attorney General Jeff Sessions said in a statement, quote, this proposal will help the Department of Justice perform its duties to uphold our nation's immigration law and end the unlawful abuse of our public benefits program that undermine U.S. taxpayers. The higher entry standards established in this proposal will allow authorities to do a more thorough job reviewing applicants for entry, therefore protecting the security of the U.S. homeland. Paula, what do you make of Jeff Sessions' response to this new policy proposal, and is this an issue that an attorney general would typically weigh in on?
Well, certainly, immigration has really been the signature issue for Attorney General Jeff Sessions, and it's not surprising that he supports this more vigorous vetting standard. And immigration is so essential to his portfolio that when he got in that dispute with the president, was being criticized by the president over the past several weeks, many Trump supporters really came out as Team Sessions because of all of his accomplishments on immigration. Specifically, Breitbart pointed out that many of the Trump administration's greatest achievements belong to Jeff Sessions, and they have to do with immigration, particularly getting those numbers at the border to really drop. Those illegal border crossings are down, sort of record numbers under Sessions. This has been a priority for him, so him weighing in on this does not surprise me at all.
All right, Paula Reid in Washington for us. Paula, thank you.